in the raw. In the raw. RKU's Guyana Free Media. And I'm your friend, your host, your brother, Haji, Dr. Roshan Kaninda. Raw. I have with me a newspaper, the Guyana Times, of Friday, April the 26th, 2024, page 9. It has to be Guyana Police Force, GPF, to implement stricter sanctions against security firms after fatal shooting incidents. Fatal means leading to death. We have in this picture the Honorable Minister BENN and persons who were killed and suspect who killed them using weapons belonging to a security company. But then we want to know where this security came from, how it came about, and how it was allowed to have so many high-powered weapons. I have seen security services in this country approved almost overnight, and then they have persons processed almost overnight. Beloved divine friends, family, brothers and sisters, overnight, and by the time they get their license, they get all the guns ready. And many are suspected to be renting their weapons to criminals. And many are suspected, these overnight entities, to be anti-government, anti-law and order. My friend, Mr. Robert Gates, one of the top investigators of this country and an investigator of the highest order in the Caribbean around the world. So remember, this is in the raw. You probably heard the phone ringing, and so I had to disturb. So a lot of nonsense is happening in this country. For example, I just got instruction to hand over a security of a planted chip factory in the Essequibo to Two Brother Security. Never heard of them. Never knew who they are. Never know who is the owner, where they came from. But most of these, and many older ones too, they are not accountable. I'm not saying this particular one, but many of them are not paying the NIS. And so the ministry is tasked when people NIS are due to fork up money to help what is appeared to be poor and needy because they can't get their pensions. Then the NIS gets under pressure because the people are not remitting. And then the NIS has its own weakness in administration and management and ensuring that all security companies and all employers pay. Is the NIS informed that this is a new security service? Keep your eye on them. But here they have weapons, and many of them, it is said, rent firearms out to criminals. They even lost control, and they don't have a system. For example, we know of a so-called security service that was operating right in Regent Street, not far from here. Their weapons were stolen by their own staff, and even allegedly by some management. And they still operate. We heard of a case in the border market where someone who was not processed, who was not trained, was showing off with the weapon and fired it and hurt somebody very, very badly. Was coming time for renewal of licenses last year, and while the investigation is going on and the arrangement was being put in place to suspend that service, the license was issued. This is what is going on in this country, ladies and gentlemen. The authorities have lost control. Arcus Guidance Security Services, I'm not saying we're the best, because for whom the bell tolls, things can happen. But we have things in place so tight, and we always welcome the police to come and inspect and investigate us and see that we are fully compliant with the law. So now, these guys are coming up willy-nilly. Anybody who believes that, oh, they see a security company and their family want guns, and they go there, register, and they get a barrage of guns for their neighbor, swear them in as I see, for the aunt, the uncle, the mother, the mother-in-law. But they don't have a security service. But they register security service. I know one is called Wholesale, Halal, Retail, and Security Service. Guns galore. One who was doing graphic designs, registered security, guns galore, stealing the people in IS, not paying them for months, playing them that, oh, you got to get a bank account, but they never told them 2 months ago you got to get a bank account. Not paying the NIS, and this is in New Amsterdam, another one. And this is what's going on. That's why NIS is in trouble. Government of Guyana, Mr. BENN, Mr. President, Mr. Hickton, Commissioner of Police. Things are not right in the country. And now, they're going to implement stricter sanctions against security firms after we have had some deaths. Has the security service been placed on investigation? Were they suspended? I heard after, we know this case, it was an embarrassment to the whole Guyana, that after a security services, that is a contractor security service, who makes his proper contributions, did some horrific thing, suspended by the top authority, and before the day is out, he had to send a letter rescinding that letter of suspension. This is not good. Whoever is involved in that, if it's a political powerhouse, my view is that you're wrong. You cannot do things like that. To give pluck to those who can administer a business with weapons and firearms. There's also words going around that certain political powerhouse are involved underhandedly with security services. It started in the APNU era, when you will see power guns, AK-47 moving all over the place, and then now inherited, it is alleged, in the new era. This is not good. This is not right. What is done in secret comes out in the open. Nothing is ever truly secretive. I'm calling and asking our government to pay serious attention on this and to ensure there are serious rules governing. And when the authority, the police pass an order, nobody should try to override that order. Now, let me read. In light of 2 deaths involving weapons owned by private security firms, the guy force is looking to implement sanctions against security companies. So all will be pressurized, not just the ones which is incapable of handling their weapons and managing their staff and securing their weapons. All have to suffer. Mr. Ben, brother, friend, I wonder if you are right. This was according to Home Affairs Minister Robson Ben, who on Thursday stated that whilst many security firms assist to decrease Guyana's crime rate, the senseless killing of young adults will not be tolerated. But what about the killing of older adults? He agrees that security services do assist in diminishing crime, and we have our presence play a very important role in law enforcement and crime prevention. On March 19, 2024, 24-year-old Ashanti Liverpool was riddled with bullets by her sister's ex-boyfriend, who then shot himself. Then on March 21st, 18-year-old Jared Jagnandan, who was fatally wounded by a security guard at Shaf, fatally mean dead, at Shaf Auto Sales located at Luziknan West East Coast Demerara. However, Ben repeated that neither of the incidents were accidental in nature, and as such, the firearms used in both instances were confiscated. But what about the poor management of the security companies? Were these ranks processed? Were they trained according to law? And if not, was the security service sanctioned and all their weapons confiscated? Or are the authorities afraid to do that now? And I go on. The security firms were also ordered to provide the necessary training to young security officers to properly use firearms for which they are responsible. That means none of their security guards who were given firearms were trained. Mr. Ben, one has to be very careful when one speaks to the media. And things like this are published because some of us are very smart. And some of us are friends of the police, friends of law and order, friends of righteousness, friends and supporters of the elected government of the day, any day. If you are a trained security person, you have a precept, it could not be accidental. Well, it could be accidental. So you're wrong again, my friend, my brother, Minister Ben. You're wrong again. There have been accidents by the police shooting their foot, their hands, the military shooting. World over, there have been accidents. So yes, whether they're trained, they can also have accidents. So just guiding you a little bit. The immediate response was the taking away of weapons, and we are trying to find more reports to sanction them for their deficiencies. The immediate response was the taking away of weapons, and we are trying to find more reports to sanction them for their deficiencies. So they're taking away that weapon. And if that weapon was carried by unauthorized, unsworn, unprocessed, or let us say even at least a former trained person by the military or the police, then the whole service should be suspended. Honorable Minister Ben, Government of Guyana, Commissioner of Police. It is on this note that he disclosed authorities are looking to implement stricter sanctions against private security firms. So we, the historic, the good, the positive, and the now come overnight guys who just doing it in some cases to get guns, to rent and to and to arm their families and their friends also, we, the long-term ones, have to suffer. But I will comply with the authorities. I will always comply with the authorities with law and order. There have been more recent discussions through the Guyana Police Force with the security service providers in relation to the discipline, the hours of work, fatigue may be a problem, and generally their readiness and responsible handling of weapons in both cases will require immediate retraining, BENN explained. Again, the hours of work, but none of these cases, he's blaming hours of work, fatigue, readiness and responsible handling. Here people took weapons and go kill their boyfriend or their girlfriend who took another man. This is management. We have one of them not too far down in Regent Street where many high-powered guns disappeared. So that is not fatigue, that is management, Mr. BENN. I repeat, that is management, administration. And then they're going to get retraining. I am not impressed with this. I'm a friend of the Guyana Police Force, I'm a friend of the minister, I'm a friend of the government of the day. And government, any government in power, I will always be supportive. Now let me go on. It was later reported the Liverpool body was riddled with bullets from an AR-15 assault rifle by Stephen Hope. Police had stated that the suspect, who was later charged and remanded to prison, went to a Chinese restaurant at Good Hope, East Coast Demerara, and collected the weapon with 8 live rounds of ammunition. So he went, took the weapon from another rank. The suspect reportedly told his co-worker that the supervisor had sent him to collect the rifle which he used to commit the crime. Well, some of that is possible. But in such a case, the security personnel need now additional training. Don't give it to any other co-worker, unless it's a senior management personnel, not just a co-worker. I mean, some ranks could do this. After the shooting, the suspect went to another supermarket, this time at Railway Embankment, and collected another AR-15 rifle with 6 live matching rounds of ammunition from another colleague, which he used to injure himself. Concerning Jack Nandan, the security officer claimed that he accidentally shot the young man in his left leg. The injured teen was taken to a private medical hospital where he succumbed, died. The 20-year-old security guard was arrested but was later released. The Guyana Times was unable to confirm the status of the case. So these high-powered rifles, these AR-15 weapons, ladies and gentlemen, going easy to these guys who just pop up and who want these high-power weapons. And I have explained to the commissioner in meetings more than once that Chinese supermarkets don't need an AR-15 weapon or a shotgun. As a matter of fact, even any gun. They don't need them. Because if the criminal come to rob, they end up taking away the weapon 99.9% of the time from the rank. And they use it on the rank and they use it on the customer, and another weapon goes into the criminal armory. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, the government knows, Minister BENN knows, The Commissioner of Police knows. And I think it is time, when anybody reaches their time to retire, that they should retire. The Commissioner of Police is my friend. He came to retirement time. But I think just about that, he needs to exit. Not only there, in the military and any high-powered position, they could be moved to another direction. Like the Commissioner of Police could go to the office of the President. He could go to the Civil Defense Commission. He could be sent as an ambassador of some country around the world and give the other officers an opportunity. Because when a commissioner comes in, he comes in with certain power and drive and wisdom. But then some of the deputies and assistant commissioners will keep some of their power and their energies and their thoughts within. Because if they give out everything and they get appointed, everything will be gone. You have Mr. Boudram, Deputy Commissioner, ready for the job. You have Calvin Brutus, ready for the job. You have Crime Chief, a power, ready for the job. I think the government needs to do the right thing and use this wisdom and this knowledge of our honorable friend, Commissioner Heaton, to go somewhere else in some department or even an appointment as an ambassador to some great nation or country, and let these other gentlemen move up the ranks. And when they move, assistant commissioners will become deputy commissioners. Ladies and gentlemen, I was making the point, as I mentioned, that the government know, the deputy commissioner know, the commissioner know. We applied since 2020, our case, a long-term security company of honor, pay the NIS with honor, pay the taxes with honor, pay our people, our staff with honor. And we applied for 2 AR rifles. Why only 2? Because we do not believe that in any circumstances, or most circumstances, you do not need these high-power weapons for everyday use. Shotguns are more than adequate. And point 3.2, why do you need high-powered handheld pistols? Why such high-powered? Why? For this security work that we do. Guyana is not in a state of war. Guyana is not being targeted by criminal elements. We are not in Haiti. We are not in some of the countries in Central and South America. Guyana is a law-abiding country. As a matter of fact, I don't believe any stores in Georgetown should have a weapon, because the store can still be robbed and the weapon can still be robbed, because they will come. How? Via the element of surprise. Take that weapon from the guard and shoot the guard. And torment the client and rob the client. So might as well the client lose what he will lose, because in any case he had to lose it. And have 2 security baton guard, one with a radio patrolling, with regular security patrols contracted. These Chinese and some locals that were learning, they like these big long weapons. And that is no deterrent. These big long weapons are an attraction to the criminals. So friends and family, ladies and gentlemen, we applied for 2. And I'm ashamed to say that to date, since 2020, we can't get it. Even spoke to some of the highest people in the land, and I saw an acting commissioner speak to a higher person in the land and pull wool over his eyes to trick the highest person in the land. And I will not ask any commissioner anymore. I leave it into the hands of God, because if some one of them think that in some way they can affect me for some reason that I don't move right, then I will leave it to the hands of God. And I know anyone who tried to torment me or the business I built from $7.50 in 1979 is fortified by the strength and the will and the power of God. So since 2020, ladies and gentlemen, we couldn't get 2 AR rifles. This minister, no. Officers higher than him, no. Commissioner of Police, no. Deputy Commissioners of Police, no. But some of their hands are tied. Will I go and fight them? Oh no. Will I go and do what maybe other people do? To get overnight security privileges and licenses? And guns galore? No, I will not. I applied through the legal system, and I like the legal system to work. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, your brother, me, Haji, Doctor, Roshan Khan, Inda, Raw. RK is Guyana Free Media. Thank you. Farewell.